Hello again, class. My name is Sese and I am your teacher for this trimester for the subject IT01 Living in IT Era. So now for this video, I will teach you about the World Wide Web in chapter 7. So we have three objectives for this chapter. Number one is to discuss the definition and components of World Wide Web. Second, identify the differences between Internet and the World Wide Web. Third, discover how does the World Wide Web works. So I hope you are ready, class. So I hope you can join me for this video. So let's start. So let's define what is World Wide Web first. So World Wide Web, which is also known as web, is a collection of websites or web pages stored in web servers and connected to local computers through the internet. So the World Wide Web is a building blocks of the web. On the web, our web pages are formatted in HTML and connected by links called hypertext or hyperlinks and accessed by HTTP. So these links are electronic connections that link related pieces of information so that users can access the desired information quickly. So hypertext offers the advantage to select a word or phrase from text and thus to access other pages that provide additional information related to the World Wide Web. A web page is given an online address called a uniform resource locator or URL, a particular collection of web pages that belong to a specific URL is called a website. So the World Wide Web is like a huge electronic book whose pages are stored on multiple servers across the world. So let's differentiate the World Wide Web and the Internet. So the Internet is a worldwide network of devices like computers, laptops, and tablets, while the World Wide Web or triple W is a network of online content that is formatted in HTML and accessed via HTTP. So the Internet is the backbone of the World Wide Web. So who invented the internet or the World Wide Web rather? The World Wide Web was invented by a British scientist, Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. Originally, it was developed by him to fulfill the need of automated information sharing between scientists across the world so that they can easily share the data and results of their experiments and studies with each other. How the invention started. In March 1989, Tim Berners-Lee took the initiative towards the invention of triple W and wrote the first proposal for the World Wide Web. And after a year, 1990, Tim Berners-Lee was able to run the first web server and browser at CERN to demonstrate his ideas. In 1991, the first web server and the first website was introduced. Team created the world's first website and web server. Its address was info.cern.ch and it was running at CERN on the next computer. So the web grows on the next computer platforms was accessible by a few users only. Later, the development of line mode browser which could run on any system started in 1991. Tim Berners-Lee introduced his triple W software with line mode browser, web server software, and a library for developers. In March 1991, it was available to colleagues who were using CERN computers, and after a few months, in August 1991, he introduced the triple W software on internet news groups, and it generated interest in the project across the world. So the World Wide Web of the first web server came online in December 1991 in the United States of America. The first web server outside Europe was introduced at Stanford University in the United States in 1991, and later at the beginning of 1993, the National Center of Supercomputing Applications introduced the first version of its Mosaic browser. In April 1993, CERN made the source code of www available on a royalty-free basis and thus made it free software. And at the end of 1993, there were more than 500 web servers, and and the World Wide Web has 1% of the total internet traffic. And after a year from 500 web servers, the World Wide Web had around 10,000 servers and 10 million users. The technology was continuously improved to fulfill growing needs of security, and e-commerce tools were decided to be added soon. So let's discuss how the World Wide Web works. So the web works as per the internet's basic client server format as shown in the image. As we can see here, class, we have the client. We have here the desktop, PC, laptop, and the web server, and of course the database of the web server. So as we can see on the between the client and the server, it was connected by the internet. Since the internet is the backbone of the World Wide Web, it cannot work without the internet connection. So the server store and transfer web pages or information to users' computers on the network when requested by the users. A web server is a software program which serves the web pages requested by web users using a browser. So the computer of a user who requests document from a server is known as a client. Browser which is installed to the user computer allows user to view and retrieve documents. All right, so as all the websites are stored in web servers, just as someone lives on rent in a house. A website occupies a space in a server and remains stored in it. So the server hosts the website whenever the user requests its web pages, and the website's owner has to pay the hosting price for the same. So the moment you open the browser and type a URL in the address bar or search something on Google, the triple W starts working. There are three main technologies involved in transferring information. From servers to clients, these technologies include Hypertext Markup Language or HTML and Hypertext Transfer Protocol and also the web browser. So let's discuss what is the HTML. So Hypertext Markup Language or HTML is a standard markup language which is used for creating web pages. It describes the structure of web pages through HTML elements or tags. So as you can see in the picture, here is the example of the HTML tags. So the HTML tags composed of start tag, affected content, and the end tag. For the start tag, we have the tag name, attribute name, and the attribute value. So these tags are used to organize the pieces of content such as heading, paragraph, table, image, and more. You don't see HTML tags when you open a web page as browsers. Don't display the tags and use them only to render the content of a web page. In simple words, HTML is used to display text, images, and other resources through a web browser. So web browser, which is commonly known as a browser, is a program that displays text, data, pictures, video, animations, and more. All right, so it provides a software interface that allows you to click hyperlink resources on the World Wide Web. When you double click the browser icon, for example, the Google Chrome, installed on your computer to launch it, you get connected to the World Wide Web and you can search Google or type a URL into the address bar. In the beginning, browsers were used only for browsing due to their limited potential. Today, they are more advanced. Along with browsing, you can use them for emailing, transferring multimedia files, using social media sites, and participating in online discussion groups and more. Some of the commonly used browsers include Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, and so much more. So the role of Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP is an application layer protocol which enables W to work smoothly and effectively. It is based on a client-server model. The client is a web browser which communicates with the web server which hosts the website. This protocol defines how messages are formatted and transmitted and what actions the web server and browser should take in response to different commands. So when you enter a URL class in the browser, an HTTP command is sent to the web server and transmit the request web page. When we open a website using a browser, a connection to the web server is open, and the browser communicates with the server through HTTP and sends requests. So HTTP is carried over TCP or IP to communicate with the server. The server processes the browser's request and sends a response, and then the connection is closed. Thus, the browser retrieves content from the server for the user. So it is important the relationship between the client and the server. So this is the end of chapter 7 for the World Wide Web. And I hope you understand our lesson well. And thank you for your listening and see you on the next video class. Goodbye.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.